Hello students, in our previous lectures we covered the various types of models to explain the structure of an atom. The model that we will be continuing further is the Bohr's atomic model. Okay, there were the different atomic models. The atomic model that we saw in the last was the Bohr's atomic model. And what was the Bohr's atomic model? It was the planetary model which suggested that electrons are revolving around the nucleus in fixed orbits, shells or energy levels. Okay, so as long as they are revolving within these shells, they will not lose any energy. Okay, so he called this as shells or orbits. We also saw that the Bohr-Bury scheme explained how these electrons are arranged in an atom. Okay, so we saw what we say the K shell, K, L, M. Okay, what are the shells? 1, 2, 3, 4. So how the electrons will be arranged, that is the electronic configuration. Okay, electronic configuration. We saw what is an electronic configuration. Then also we saw that the octet rule that was proposed by Cosell and Lewis to explain the reactivity, the chemical reactivity of an element. Okay, so they were able to predict, okay, by octet rule. What you can do by octet rule, you can predict that based upon the number of electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, what is the outermost shell known as? It is known as the valency shell. Okay, valency shell. So based upon the number of electrons in the valency shell, you can determine that what is the valency of that element. Okay, it is very important to know the valency of element. If you know what is the valency, you can predict the chemical reactivity. So if the valency is 1, 2, 3, what will be the, if the number of electrons in the valency shell is 1, 2, 3, okay, then the valency will be 1, 2 or 3. Okay, and if the number of electrons in the valency shell is either 4, 5, 6 or 7, then what will be the valency of the atom, of the element? It will be 8 minus this, that is 8 minus 4 is equal to, okay, 4, 3, 2, 1. That will be the valency. Okay, so based upon the knowledge of what is the valency of the element, what we are able to do, we are able to guess the chemical property of that element. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 valency, that means it will be metallic nature. Okay, this will be non-metal. Okay, so these are the kind of knowledge we can know if we can know what is the valency of the element. So we have seen all these things in our previous lectures. Now what we are going to look in the present video is how these elements combine. Okay, because you saw that they will lose electrons or they will gain electrons, but where will these electrons go? So these electrons have to share with, transfer to, okay, another element. Okay, so by this what happens? There is a formation of chemical bonds. Okay, there is a formation of chemical bonds. So in today's lecture we will see there are the two types of chemical bonds in our syllabus. One is the ionic bond and one is the covalent bond. Today we will be looking at what is an electrovalent or ionic bond. Why are ionic compounds stable? The structure of some of the ionic compounds like sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium oxide. Okay, so you can pause the video in order to answer this question. Okay, so what you are seeing in the figure here, can you guess which element it is? This is a orbit diagram, Okay, we call this as a orbit diagram, right? Because we are showing the orbits here. So these two are the orbit diagrams of two different elements. Which element is this? Which element is this? Okay. Here you can see the atomic number is, number of protons is 11. What is the mass number? It is 23. Okay. Okay. Here what is the element? Atomic number 17, number of protons is equal to number of electrons. 17, mass number is 18 plus 17. Okay, there are these two. So atomic number 11 is sodium. Atomic number 17 is chlorine. Okay. Now, based upon the knowledge from our previous videos, can you guess whether it will gain or lose electron, sodium? You are seeing that in the outermost shell, okay, here shell number 3 or M shell, it is having only one electron. So let us write the electronic configuration. 281 is the electronic configuration, correct? For 11 atomic number, electronic configuration will be 281. So outermost is what? One electron. So what will happen if there is only one electron in the outermost shell, in the valency shell? It is going to lose the electron. So what is the electronic configuration it will attain after losing? 28. Okay, now it is a octet, right? It is gaining an octet configuration. So it will become Na plus because it lost an electron. Okay. So what about chlorine? Chlorine 2, 8, 7 because 17, right? 2 plus 8, 10 plus 7, 17. So for 7, what will happen? It can gain an electron. You know, when it will gain an electron to attain this kind of configuration, it will become, when it gains an electron, it will become negative charge. Okay. So positive charge, cation. Negative charge, anion. Okay. How do you remember? Cat paw of the cat, right? Uska jo whatever legs it has, cat paw. So cat paw positive. Okay, you can remember in that way. So Na plus sodium is cation, chloride Cl minus anion. So cations are all metallic nature. Okay, and anions are non-metallic nature. Now the sodium, it is losing electron. Okay, so what it is going to do? It has to give the electron to someone, right? So it can give the electron to chlorine because chlorine wants an electron. So what is going to happen is the transfer of this electron. What electron is that? That is the valency electron, not any other electron inside here. Okay, the valency electron. So the valency electron, that is the outermost electron, will go transfer. Okay, this is very important. Transfer. It is not sharing, it is a transferring, complete transferring, not like partial transferring, complete transfer. The complete transfer of the valency electron to another atom. Okay, so now what is going to happen is chlorine got an extra electron. It is able to attain its octet configuration and become stable. These two ions, that is the Na plus and Cl minus, chloride and sodium, both of these will attract each other, correct? Because they are opposite charges, they will attract each other. Okay, so then they form what we say the ionic compound. Okay, so therefore when we look at the definition of a electrovalent or ionic bond, what it says? The chemical bond formed as a result of the transfer of electrons from one atom of an element to one atom of another element. Okay? What is an electrovalent compound or ionic compound? the compound that is formed by the transfer of electrons. And electrovalency is the number of electrons that were lost or gained to form the electrovalent bond. Okay. Now we will look at the stability of the ionic compounds. The electrostatic forces of attraction between the opposite charged ions is strong. Okay, what is strong? The electrostatic forces. Of course, they are both charged, right? Charged species, charged ions. So they will have electrostatic attraction. So electrostatic force of attraction between the opposite charged ions are very strong, and therefore these compounds are stable. Okay. Example of these ionic compounds is sodium chloride, okay, Na plus Cl minus, magnesium chloride, Mg plus, okay, here chloride Cl2, okay, that means there will be two chloride ions, okay, Cl minus, Cl minus, okay, calcium oxide Ca plus 2, oxygen minus 2, okay, KBr, what is KBr? Potassium bromide, positive charge, bromide, negative charge. Calcium chloride similar to magnesium chloride, Ca plus 2, chloride Cl minus, Cl minus. What is this one? This is a cesium fluoride, cesium. So in your next chapter in the periodic table you will be looking at what are the different elements. Okay, so cesium fluoride. Okay, so fluoride is in the 17th group, cesium is there in group 1. Okay, so this is very much bottom of the group, so it is a very large size of an atom. Okay, so what happens, the electron that is there in the outermost shell, it has very high energy, it can come outside very easily. Okay, so these things we will look in the next chapter. Cesium fluoride is the most stable of all the ionic compounds because the charge here is very strong. The ability to lose electron, the ability to gain electron for the fluoride, both of them are very strong. Okay. Now let us practice and look at how can we represent the formation of these ionic compounds. For example, sodium chloride. Okay, sodium atomic number 11, chloride atomic number 17. Electronic configuration 281, electronic configuration 287. Okay, so what should be the orbital diagram? Considering this is the atom, okay, 1 2 3, 3 shells are there, make 3. You see, we are saying it is the orbit diagram, not the orbital diagram. Okay, please use the term orbit diagram when we are talking about the Bohr's structure. Okay, so now we have the 1 2 3, 3 orbits are there. Okay, in this one there are the 2 first orbit, here there will be 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, and in the last shell there is 1 electron. Okay, this is how we will make it. Okay, then in chloride there will be the how many? 3 orbits, 1 2, okay, 3 orbits. Outermost is going to have how many? So here you will have 2, here you will have 8, okay, and here you will have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so this is your valency electron. Okay, so what is going to happen? It is going to lose, sodium is going to lose an electron to form Na plus. Okay, chloride is going to gain electron to form Cl minus. Okay, so then what is the structure going to look like? Again, in the orbital structure you will have only 2, right? This is the nucleus, 2 electrons here, and a stable outermost is having 8 electrons. Okay, and because it has lost the outermost electron, it has gained what charge? Positive charge. You show that outside. Okay, similarly in the case of chloride ion, outside it has combined. Okay, so nucleus 1 2, 3, 3 shells. Okay, so here is 2, here is 8, and outside also now chloride ion has got 8 electrons, so therefore it has reached the octet configuration. So this positive and negative charge of both of them will attract each other. Okay, this attraction is known as electrostatic attraction. Okay, electrostatic attraction or Coulomb, C-O-U-L-O-M-B, Coulomb attractions. Okay, Coulomb is nothing but another for a charge. So Coulombic attractions or electrostatic attractions. Now the orbit diagrams are very difficult, are not always making these circles. So there should be some kind of a short representation, easy to make. Okay, so that was proposed by Lewis. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are only showing the valency electron. Okay, here valency electron is 1, here valency electron is 7. Okay, so let us show how it comes. So for example, for the sodium we are showing the valency electron in this kind of way. Okay, and in the case of chloride we are showing like the shaded circle. Okay, so okay, so there are 7 valency electrons in the chlorine and there is 1 valency electron in sodium. So what is sodium going to do? It is going to transfer. Okay, that's very important. Transfer the electron to chlorine. So then what will form? It will form sodium plus, okay, and chloride ion. So in chloride ion what is going to happen? They will be in this way, the electrons can be shown. Okay, this cross is, small cross is, we want to show that this is the electron from sodium. Okay, it is clear. In the same way we can represent these structures for magnesium chloride and calcium oxide. Okay, now let us see for example for magnesium chloride. Okay, so in the case of magnesium it is atomic number 12, in the case of chlorine it is 17, so 282, okay, 287 electronic configuration. So how many shells will be there? 1, 2, 3, 3 shells. Okay, I am showing a bit small. Okay, little bit of page constraint. Okay, but it is very easy, as you have seen, just you are showing the electrons. Okay, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 electrons in the outermost shell. In the valency shell 2 electrons for magnesium, and the same thing we are showing here. So each time we are making this, it appears to be very cumbersome. Okay, always making so many circles. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here how many are there? 2 electrons are there in the outermost valency shell. Here there are the 7. So what is going to happen if there are 2 electrons? It is going to lose the electrons. So magnesium will lose the 2 electrons to form Mg2 plus. Okay, and in the case of chlorine, as we have seen earlier, it will gain the electron to form chloride ion. The same thing when we are representing in the orbit diagram. Okay, we will be reducing 2 electrons here. Okay, so just what we will be doing, we will be showing 1, 2, right? Only 2 shells will be showing, and you fill up. Okay, 8, 7, 8. Okay, and then what you will be doing, show the charge. Same thing with chloride, as we have shown here, the same thing you will show, and you will show that they are attracting each other. Okay, they are attracting each other. So when we are showing this in the Lewis symbol diagram, so how we will do it? So magnesium Mg, okay, there are the 2 valency electrons, so we will show 2 crosses. Okay, okay, so and about chlorine, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 valency electrons. Okay, so now what is going to happen? The magnesium has to lose 2 electrons. it cannot give 2 electrons to one chlorine atom, right? So there is the requirement for 2 chlorine atoms. So we need to draw 2 chlorine atoms. One will go to one chlorine atom, the other valency electron from magnesium will go to another chlorine atom. Okay, then what is going to happen? Then we will show the reaction in this way, Mg2 plus, and there will be the chloride ion. Okay, chloride ion. Okay, and for the sake of simplicity we can put it within a bracket 2 and say what is the charge is the minus. Okay, so in this way we can show the Lewis diagram structure for this compound. Okay, next calcium oxide, calcium atomic number 20, oxygen atomic number 8. Okay, so 2, 8, 18, 2. Okay, here 2, 6. Okay, so when here how many you have to draw orbits? So please practice these things at home. Okay, it's very easy, but if you practice it, then it is easy for you. Okay, so we have how many orbits? We have 4 orbits. So nucleus 1, 2, 3. Please pardon, it is not so clean the diagram. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll show all of these. Okay, please represent all the ones, and we are showing the last valency 2 electrons. Okay, the same thing we will do with oxygen, 2 and 6. Now the combination of calcium and oxygen, what it will involve, it because it has 2 electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, it has the 2 electrons in the outermost shell, it will lose the 2 electrons. Okay, and what about oxygen? Oxygen has to gain the 2 electrons to get the octet configuration. Okay, so how is going to happen? So calcium going to lose 2 electrons to form Ca2 plus. Okay, oxygen is going to gain 2 electrons to form O2 minus. Okay, sorry, it's not, it is O2 minus. Okay, so because here we are talking about atom, it is not a molecule, please be careful. Okay, it is not a molecule. O2 is the molecule, O is the atom. So here one atom has lost 2 electrons, therefore we will put this on not the subscript but superscript upar mein. Okay, 2 minus. So now if you want to show this in a Lewis diagram structure, how you will do it? So calcium outermost electron, valency electrons are 2. Okay, oxygen, here how many oxygens are there? Okay, for the sake of simplicity you can show 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 electrons. So what is going to happen is the 2 of these valency electrons can transfer to 1 oxygen atom. Okay, 2 valency electrons of calcium can be accepted by 1 atom of oxygen. So what is going to happen? It is going to form Ca2 plus, and oxygen we will be representing in this way. Okay, in this way we will represent, and the overall charge on top of this will be the 2 minus. Okay, so what are the properties of ionic compounds? They are hard, they are brittle crystalline solids consisting of ions. Okay, they are very stable. Okay, because they have electrostatic or Coulomb attraction between themselves, and they form crystalline solids. You already know salts. All right, salts are looking like crystals. Okay, so non-volatile, high boiling and melting point. They do not conduct electricity in the solid state. that is important, but they are good conductors of electricity in the fused or aqueous state. So when you take pure water, it is not a good conductor of electricity, but when you add a little bit of salt to it, then it becomes a good conductor of electricity. Okay, these are some of the important properties of ionic compounds. Then we have observed that these reactions that are taking place, one is going to lose the electron, okay, to form the cation plus, and other is going to gain the electron to form the minus anion. So suppose we take the equation sodium plus chlorine gives rise to Na plus Cl minus. So let us put this in the equation. Okay, so two sodium atoms combine with two chlorine atoms to form two molecules of sodium ion and two molecules of chloride ion. Okay, or you can also say two molecules of sodium chloride. This particular reaction can be broken down into two reactions. One is a oxidation reaction, one is a reduction reaction. Together we say it is a redox reaction. So let us represent 2 sodium, okay, gives rise to 2 Na plus, okay, plus 2 electrons, correct? It is losing the electrons, therefore it is forming positive charge. And what about chlorine? Chlorine is gaining 2 electrons, okay, to form 2 chloride ions. Okay, so this is the first stage. This is what kind of reaction? That is removal of electrons is the oxidation. Okay, and here it is gaining electrons, therefore it is reduction. Okay, both of these reaction will occur simultaneously, therefore this reaction is known as the redox reaction. Okay, both of them are going to happen simultaneously. Another example is, for example, zinc plus copper sulfate. Okay, it will give rise to zinc sulfate plus copper. Okay, so this is a solid, this is aqueous, okay, and copper sulfate aqueous and zinc solid. Okay, so in this particular reaction, okay, in this particular reaction, what is going to happen? The zinc is acting as a reducing agent. Okay, zinc plus copper Cu2 plus gives rise to zinc 2 plus plus copper. Okay, so basically what we are doing, we are removing the sulfate charge. SO4 minus 2 hota hai na, Cu 2 plus. So we are not showing the anion part. So this is how you are looking at. So what is the conversion? Zinc became Zn2 plus. So it has lost the electrons. It has lost 2 electrons. This one it gained. Okay, it gained 2 electrons. Okay, so therefore this is going to be the oxidation. Okay, and this is reduction. Okay, because it is getting oxidized, what it is doing, it is reducing the other fellow, therefore it is known as the reducing agent. Okay, and this is getting reduced, copper 2 plus 2 copper, it is itself getting reduced, it is giving the electrons, therefore it is the it is taking the electrons, it is oxidizing agent. Okay, so in this way we are looking at the redox reactions. Okay, both reduction and oxidation reaction will take place simultaneously. Okay, the one that is undergoing oxidation, okay, it is removing its own electrons. These electrons will reduce the other one, therefore it is a reducing agent. Okay, it is a reducing agent. Same thing is with here, it is gaining electrons. Okay, it is taking the electrons from the other one, it is going to do it is getting reduced, it is a oxidizing agent. Okay, So in our next class we will cover the covalent bonding. Okay, covalent bonding involves the sharing of electrons. Always remember, the ionic bonds involve the complete transfer of electrons from one atom of an element to the other atom of an element. Okay, thank you.